man in wrestling right here. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. It ain't no doubt. It ain't no doubt. Flair, bring that old cashmere coat out here.
Can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long.
All right, welcome to the Midday Sports Show, Midday Sports with Rod and the Lunch Crew. Of course, I am Chris Dietz of Fifth Down Sports. Get you started here. Rod will be with us in a minute. But on today's program, of course, we'll be talking everything that happened this weekend. Can the Lakers recover from what happened yesterday against the Chicago Bulls? I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. I'm sure we'll talk about Lamar Jackson and his recent escapades and his announcements on social media. So we'll talk about all of that and everything that's been going down as far as the NFL is concerned. And I'm sure we'll also hit on the XFL a little bit as the XFL has taken a drastic turn. The people that like the XFL, but the mass amount of people have basically left it in the dust. So we'll get to all of that. But this weekend was all about March Madness. March is all about college basketball. It's what we live for. It's what sports is about. And I got to tell you, as a Connecticut resident, watching what UConn did in the Sweet 16 against Arkansas and then coming back against a Gonzaga team that was supposed to give them problems, well, that didn't happen. UConn really looked good this entire weekend from Thursday to Saturday. UConn looked like the best team in the country. And if there's any argument to that, they beat Arkansas by 20. They beat Gonzaga by 20. And meanwhile, you had everybody else struggling to get through. Miami was down 18 at one point, had to come back against Texas. FAU, FAU was as close to being knocked out of the tournament as you could get against Memphis in the first round. They have put it together since then, but they have gotten through to the Final Four. And then, of course, we have the Creighton San Diego State situation, which you could talk about the end of that game. We could spend the whole 2 hours talking about just the end of that game and replay and what could have happened, what should have happened, what actually happened. Look, they went to replay. You could, depending on what your side of the argument is, you could make an argument for Creighton should have got the ball. The ball should have gone. They made the right call. They made the wrong call. There should have been more time on the clock. You could talk about anything you want with that final play in that San Diego State Creighton game. Needless to say, it went San Diego State's way. San Diego State moves on to the Final Four. So the four we have are San Diego State, FAU, Florida Atlantic, Miami, and the UConn Huskies. And of all of those teams, the only team that has not struggled at any point in this tournament is the UConn Huskies. Yes, they were trailing I believe they were trailing at halftime in their first game, and then they went on to win the game by 20. I think they were up 2 at the end of the first half against St. Mary's. They went on to win by 18. This is a team that has put together, and then they got to the Sweet 16, and they finally put together full basketball games. Instead of just playing the second half, they played the entire game that way, and they end up beating Arkansas by 20. They end up beating Gonzaga by 20. The scary thing about this UConn team is that they don't have – when I look at this team, I don't look at a guy that if they come out in the NBA, that they would be a star in the NBA. So this entire team, this may not be a one-off for them. This may not be a one-and-done situation. Whereas most teams that get to this part of the season, you're talking about either a senior-laden team or a team that has one of these one-and-done players or multiple one-and-done players where you're looking at a complete overhaul for the next year. I don't see that in this UConn team. Guys like Austin Jackson, I don't know where guys like Chad Ford have Austin Jackson rated as far as the NBA draft is concerned. But when I watch Austin Jackson play, I don't see him as an NBA player. Not right now. He doesn't have the shooting. He doesn't have the shooting to be a star in the NBA. He really needs to work on that. He doesn't have the drive ability to be an NBA superstar. So I don't see a reason why he would go into the NBA draft, because he can come back to college, show a better, show himself better, and show that he's worked on those things and become a better player. Sanogo, the big guy down low for UConn, he doesn't strike me as an NBA. He's not an NBA center. He's not an NBA power forward. He's more of a guy that can get rebounds and do those kinds of. That's not how the NBA is working right now. The NBA is not looking for those types of players. So for him, it might be come back and show that he can put moves on the block, that he can perfect a sky hook or a jump hook type maneuver, something that he can work on the baseline so that he can be a dominant scorer. Because at the end of the day, that's what it takes to be an NBA player. You have to be able to score the basket. Go back years and years ago with the same kind, with a UConn player, Hasheem Thabeet was a dominant defensive player. He had zero offensive skills. Ended up getting drafted high, ended up winning a championship. But when he got to the NBA, there was no spot for him. There was nowhere he could play because he couldn't get down the floor. He couldn't set up on offense, and you can't just have a guy stand there and play defense. You can't do that in the NBA. So the scary thing about this UConn team is if UConn can do what they've done already in the tournament, they can dominate this Final Four. They are the highest seed left. They are the team that's playing the best going in. If they continue this, not only could this be this year championship run, you could be looking at a UConn team that is dangerous going into next year as well, as far as what they have. Now, as far as this UConn team right now, and UConn making the Final Four, I will say this right now, and I will challenge anybody that listens to this, anybody that's watching this. Let me know in the comments. Let us know. Let us know in the comments. I'll say this right now and prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, because I don't think you can, but prove me wrong. The best basketball program in the last 25 years is the UConn Huskies. If they win a championship here, if they win a championship, it will be their 5th title in 20 years. They will have 5 titles with 3 different coaches. Name me a program that has that distinction. You can name me programs that have 5 titles. I mean, there's not many. There's not many that have 5 titles. There's UCLA with John Wooden and all of that. But you have to go back. You have to go back to 1995 to get to UCLA's last title. Okay? You've got Kentucky, who racked up a lot of theirs under Adolph Rupp. And of course we know about Calipari and what he's done as far as getting the one and dones and as far as the John Wall, Anthony Davis. But that's the only thing they have. That's the only thing that Kentucky has in the last 20 years. You have to go back to the 90s with the Jamal Mashburn teams and the Rex Chapman Rex Chapman played for Kansas, but you have to go back. You have to go back even farther. You have to go back to like 91, 92, somewhere around there to get to find Kentucky dominance. You could talk about Duke. The comparison that people will give is Duke. Well, everything Duke did was under Coach K. Everything that Duke did, Duke's rise, and now they're subs. This is their first year without Coach K. Everything else that they did was under Coach K. You look at the UConn Huskies. They were built by Jim Calhoun. Jim Calhoun got them to 3 titles. Then he gave it over to Kevin Ollie. And Kevin Ollie won a championship. And then we know what happened with Kevin Ollie, all of that. He gives it over to Danny Hurley. If Danny Hurley can get a championship, that would be 3 championships, 3 championship coaches at the same university. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen often. Find me a team that has had 3 championship coaches, and to have it be done in a 20-year span, it's mind-boggling. That's why I say find me a better program than the UConn Huskies in the last 20 years. You can't do it. UConn will have 5 titles. They will join UCLA, Kentucky, Duke, and Indiana. And then it'll be UConn. Like, which one of those does not, which one of those just doesn't fit? UConn's the outlier. No one thinks of Storrs, Connecticut when they think of basketball. But when you look at the championships, they will have 5 champions, and they will have done it all different ways. When you go back and look at all the different ways that this team, that UConn won championships, you look at the Rip Hamilton years when they won championships with it was never one guy. It was they never had the one guy. It was always a team game. It was Khalid Al-Amin. It was Jake Voskuhl. It was Rip Hamilton. It was Rashad Anderson. It was all of those guys putting it together on the court. And that was the way it was done. Then you go to the next championship run, which is Ben Gordon, Emeka Okafor, and that team. And again, you could talk about Ben Gordon and Emeka Okafor as being, the guys as they went on to have NBA careers, but none of them went on to be NBA stars. Ben Gordon was good for a couple years and had a few great years, but was never the guy. But they had a conglomerate. Then you go to the next championship. The next championship after that, as I said, was Hasheem Thabeet and Josh Boone. It was the tower. It was the Twin Towers down there that won them a championship. Then you move on to Kemba Walker, and that was when UConn had a guy, and Kemba Walker was that guy. Kemba Walker drove UConn to a championship. So they did it that way. They did it that way with the guy drive and giving him the steering wheel and saying, "Hey, drive the bus." That happened. Then you get to the Kevin Ollie championship, which was Shabazz Napier. And it wasn't Shabazz Napier's play on the court. It was Shabazz Napier being a leader and leading by example and leader in the locker room. That team had no business winning a championship. But they were so entrenched in all of that they went out and they went out and did it. And it's the greatness of March Madness that it's not the best team that wins. It's the team. It's the team that shows up that day. And that team personifies that. Now you have this team that is going through and like I just said, there's not a single guy on this UConn Huskies team that I look at and say, "Yep, he's an NBA player. He's an NBA player. He's an NBA player." There's not a single guy I can do that with. I look at this team and I say, "Yeah, this guy's pretty good. This guy's pretty good. This guy's okay. This guy's got some potential. Work on this, and this, and you will be an NBA draft pick." There's not that's scary. That is scary. That should scare the daylights out of anybody in this. So I'm just wondering what people are thinking as we go into this. It's going to be a great Final Four, and of course, a Final Four down in Texas where UConn won their first championship in San Antonio, Texas, over the Duke Blue Devils. And I remember that championship very well. Khalid El-Amin going against Trajan Langdon and Shane Battier, and that Blue Devils team. That was the first. It wasn't the first inkling of UConn when UConn had championship teams before that just never made the run. You talk about the Tate George team, which in '89, where if Tate George doesn't step out of bounds, Christian Laettner never happens. That was a Connecticut thing. Connecticut. You talk about Scott Burrell throwing the pass to Tate George with 0.9 seconds left to beat Clemson. That you talk about that those years. You talk about Ray Allen, Donyell Marshall, and those UConn teams. Those UConn teams were better than some of these other teams. They just didn't win championships. And that's the greatness of March Madness. That's what makes March Madness so much fun. But that's all I got to say. Like I said, I would love to hear somebody react to. I would love to hear the arguments against it. If UConn wins this championship, there is no argument. It would defeat any argument. They would be the best team. They would be the best program in the last 20 years. The argument would be over if they win this championship. So that's what I'm looking for. But anyway, that's March Madness. What I really want, and while I'm waiting for Rod to come on, and hopefully we'll get some other talk. I'll wait for Rod. I'll skip over the Lakers and the Bulls for a minute as we'll wait. But so I'll skip that one and I'll go to the XFL. Because I was on, I wasn't on, I was in the chat for the Sports Senseis this weekend with Snowman and Drew, and shout out to the Sports Senseis. A show you can catch on Snowman Media. Check them out on YouTube. And you can also check their live show on Friday. As I'm sure they will break down the Final Four as well. But they were talking about the XFL, and I made some comments in their live show that the XFL is falling apart before our eyes. And the play on the field is fine. The play on the field is it has nothing to do with the players, with the game, with the way the game is. It's the way this has been rolled out, and the way the XFL is just. They just did not. I don't think they planned on this. They should have planned that to have your games on weekends in March is a losing battle. You're going to lose that battle every time, because everybody, I don't care who you are, okay? I don't care where you work, what you do, everybody fills out a bracket. Everybody does it. There are people that have never watched a college basketball game in their life that look at the thing and they go, "Oh, this team, they wear green. I like green. I'm going to pick them." There are people that do that. There are people that, oh, whatever, $5, throw $5 in, fill out a bracket, and do it in their office, do the office pool, an office bracket or whatever, and everybody does that. So everybody is tuning into March Madness. No one is tuning into the XFL on Saturday and Sunday. It was a big mistake to try to go up against college basketball the last 2 weekends. And we saw that in the ratings for the XFL. A 67% drop from week 1 to week 3. That's unsustainable. And, we can talk about The Rock being the owner of the XFL. Unless he wants to infuse to make up for all of those losses, this isn't going to last. The XFL is going. They're going to have to make changes, and they have to make 2 changes to the XFL, and almost immediately. If they want to recover. I don't think they can't. I think they have to stick to whatever they have right now. But I think they have to ride it out this season. But if they want to sustain the XFL, they're going to have to make a change. They're going to have to find a central hub for their games where every single game is on. You can't have one game on ESPN, one game on FX, one game on whatever other station they have games on. You have to put the games on one network all the time. One place that fans can go. Because I'll tell you right now, the casual fan is not going to flip around to find the XFL game. They're not going to go, oh, well, where is the game? What channel? And flip the channel around. That's not. They're not going to do that. They're not going to check the guide to see where they are. They're not going to get us. They're not going to get a streaming service just for the XFL. That's not going to happen. You have to put it in a central spot where people that want to watch the XFL go, all right, it's and we'll get to it, but let's say it's Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night. I want to watch some XFL. All right, I go to this. I go to that. I go to I go to whatever channel you want to put it on, whether it's FX, whether it's ESPN, whatever channel, whatever the central hub is, you have to have it in one spot. Otherwise, people are not going to find it. People aren't going to search out the XFL. It's not going to happen. This is why the XFL failed in the Vince McMahon era, is because they had games on UPN. They had games on NBC. They had one game on NBC that you watched every week. They had one game on NBC, and the rest of the games were on totally different networks. Nobody could find them. That's going to be the death of the XFL. Well, welcome in, Rod.
What's up, man? But you know what I mean. I don't think they was gonna lose regardless. You know what I mean. You see what the USFL is doing. They wait until the smoke is clearing. I think what they started, April? When they started?
What, the XFL?
The USFL. The USFL.
The USFL. They start late April, I think. Late April, maybe.
Power move right there. Smoke is clearing.
Yeah, they wait for everything to clear. I would believe that they would start. I don't know the exact date that they start, but I would assume that it's after the NFL draft.
That is real smart, you know what I mean, by them. You know what I mean, smoke is clearing, baseball's about to be back on. You know what I mean? They don't have no really niche to really compete with. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? College football, just, you know what I mean, they're in training camp and, you know what I mean, doing spring games and stuff. So, you know what I mean, they have their own niche right there. You know what I mean? That would have been smarter if the XFL did it like the USFL did.
Well, I think, like I said, part one is getting a central spot for their games. Like the USFL has a central spot. They have Fox. They have games. They have games that are on actual Fox TV, and then the rest of the games are on FS1. You know, but you know where the games are. You know, all right, it's Saturday. I want to watch it. Oh, it's not on in my area. It's not on channel 61. All right, it's on FS1. Let me go to that. With the XFL, it's all over the place. You have one game on FX. You have one game on ESPN. You have one game on ESPN2. You have games. The games are all over the place. Nobody knows where to go. Nobody knows what to do. That doesn't help. The second thing is, like I said, in March, you're going against March Madness. It's not going to happen. March Madness is too entrenched. Everybody is involved. Like I said, everybody's involved in March Madness. I mean, you work in an office. I'm sure there are office brackets all over the place. People fill out brackets that never watched college basketball a day in their life, but they fill out a bracket because it's fun, and then they watch to make sure that their bracket works. You can't go against that. If I were the XFL, I would find, if you want to keep this market period, you have to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games. You can't go up against college basketball. And even Thursday would be a stretch because we know Thursday is when college basketball starts. So you might have to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get your games in.
You know what I mean? I hope they don't, I hope they don't get canceled again, because I like the play. I love the defense, you know what I mean? But it ain't looking good for them.
The drop off. Right now it's at 72%. It's at a 72% drop since week 1.
If that was a sitcom,
that's unsustainable. I don't care how much money The Rock has. You can't. The Rock can't. Even The Rock can't take all of that. And the Rock might be the owner of the league, but owners of franchises are going to go, I'm not paying that. People don't pay money just to play football, just to watch others play football. They pay money. They pay to own a team so that they can make money off it. If they're seeing drop-offs like this, it's gonna be a disaster. But their market, it's not the play on the field. It's the way the game has been marketed. They totally underestimated what they have.
You know what I mean? That happens in business sometimes.
It does. But a smart business person will course correct this and do it before it's catastrophic. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the XFL's sheets. I don't have their balance sheets in front of me. I don't know how catastrophic this is right now. But I do know they have to course correct between now and the next time they try this, whether it's next season or whether they push it to, hey, we're just going to go up against the USFL, because you can't do this again. You can't do this again. This time period just it will not work. It will never work.
Yeah, let's move along though, man. Lamar Jackson wants to get out, as he should.
As he should. They don't want to pay him, and they don't want to pay him long. They don't want him there long term.
Can we say? I think it's DeCostas. I think if this was the big fella Ozzie, I think this deal would have been done. Do you think so, or you think Ozzie would have played it the same way?
I think they have all the. He has no leverage right now. I mean, if you're the Ravens, you have him under contract. You have the bullet in the chamber of franchise tag. You have the franchise tag that they put. He wants to be traded. Remember when they put the franchise tag on him that said if a team wants to sign him, they can. The Ravens have a chance to match. Well, where's that team that offered him a contract? What team offered him a contract?
I'll say this though. I agree with Cole. I was watching Snowman in the morning. I agree with Cole. If I'm the Jets, I give up my 2 picks. I'll give you a pick this year, and I give you a pick the following year, or however I got the first round picks, because they're not going to get Aaron Rodgers. I'm not seeing no movement is going to happen. You know what I mean? It's a pissing contest. I don't think this is going to get resolved.
I think the Jets are all in on getting Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's going to happen. It's going to take time, and Aaron Rodgers is probably the better move for the Jets as far as they don't have to give up as much to get Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay still went a first round and a second.
Yeah, we're still a month out from the draft. Yeah, on draft night when no other offers are coming in, and it's, hey, you take one pick from the Jets, or you take one first rounder and some compensation picks. Like maybe a third this year and a third next year. When we get closer to the draft, you're going to see a lot of them. You're going to see Green Bay.
Oh, what's up, Ryan?
You're going to see Green Bay come off that line, because it's going to be either you get something from the Jets or you get nothing. Because Aaron Rodgers has already said he's not going back to play. He's not going back there. Green Bay has already moved on. Green Bay has already moved on to Jordan Love. So
where do you go from here?
You either get something or you get nothing, and Aaron Rodgers retires and goes off in the sunset and joins Pat McAfee and does what he does there. Aaron Rodgers doesn't need football. The Green Bay Packers need to get something for him.
Can we see the case where, I'm sorry to throw this crazy, scenario out, but Lamar going to the Texans for a pick? I think he moves that team to at least 6 or 7 wins.
I think that would be a great move for the Texans. Where the Texans are now that they're behind Carolina, Carolina's taking a quarterback in the draft. So it's, do you feel comfortable with CJ Stroud? Do you feel comfortable enough to draft CJ Stroud, or do you want to trade for Lamar Jackson? That's what you need to think about, because you have, if I'm Carolina, I have the first pick. I traded up. You didn't make that trade to do anything else. You're making that trade to get a quarterback, so you're going to get Bryce Young. If you don't get Bryce Young, I don't know what you're looking at for a quarterback. That's the only thing that the Texans can hope for, is that Carolina drafts somebody else and we can still get Bryce Young. But if you don't want to take that gamble, then if you're the Texans, the next best thing is go get Lamar Jackson.
I think, there's a couple teams I'd like to see him on. Tennessee. I think Tennessee, I don't know if they got the capital to get Lamar, but that'd be great. An RPO system with him and Henry. I think that could be scary. You know what I mean? There's a couple other teams. Of course, I'll trade him right now for Mac Jones if they want to give it to me.
Yeah.
If you want to do the back end, I'll give you that right now. I'll give you that right now. I'll give him 4 years.
I don't know if Bill would sign off on that, but
give me 4 years. I'll give him 4 years and whatever money you want for 4 years.
Yeah, going to, you talk about the pit, that's not the Patriots way, and the Patriots have never been a team that pays for guys. Usually the Patriots they take the guys who you can underpay. Mm-hmm. And then once they get big, they go, all right, go somewhere else and get your money.
Because right now, I can tell you that right now, if we can work with Cam Newton and Cam Newton gave us 7 wins, we could win that division with Lamar Jackson.
Oh, Lamar Jackson improves your team. Would Lamar Jackson want to go to the Patriots? Go from one team that has no receivers to another team that has no receivers?
We got something. We got better than Ravens.
Really?
I believe so.
Who you got better? Who you got better?
Juju is better than Bateman.
Mark Andrews is a better receiver, and he plays tight end, and he's the best one out of both those teams.
I don't think so. We got a better core. Mark Andrews okay.
He's okay. Out of both rosters.
Is he better than Kittle?
Mark Andrews is definitely the best target to throw the pass to.
No,
by far.
He's like a top 4, maybe top 5.
Then you've got Rashad Bateman in there.
Not better than Juju.
Coming along.
Not better than Juju. Go ahead.
Juju, no, I didn't say. I'd say Rashad Bateman is probably 3rd or 4th on that target list.
He's not even better than Kendrick Bourne.
Oh no, he's way better than Kendrick Bourne.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Rashad Bateman had 70-something catches this year as a rookie. I mean,
come on, man.
He proved himself to be a good target this year.
I'm telling you, next year, I'm hoping. I'm glad. I love all the Patriot hate. We're gonna be back next year, man. Yeah. We're gonna be back. I'm gonna say this right now. I see 10 wins this year. 10.
Yeah. How many did they have this year? 9?
It was 8, 9. It was 8, 9.
9 wins.
8 wins.
The question's going to be is 10 wins enough to make the playoffs? That's that's going to be the tough thing.
I got us beating easily. I got us beating Buffalo one time. I got us sweeping the Jets twice. Even if they get Aaron Rodgers, I got them sweeping them twice. I got us going 1-1 with the Dolphins. That's all we need.
Yeah. Wait, you got the Patriots sweeping the Bills?
No, I got us sweeping the Jets again.
Yeah, sweeping the Jets. That's.
I got us going 1-1 with the Bills. I got us going 1-1 with the Dolphins.
Okay. Well, we'll see when the schedule comes. We'll see when the schedule when they release the schedule of.
I can't wait for the Cowboys. I can't wait for the Cowboys and Patriots this year.
Yeah, that'll be a fun.
That's always a fun game. That's always a fun game.
That'll be a fun game. But I like I'm saying. I mean,
what's up, Rude? You say you got your Panthers going to turn up. I don't know about that, cuz. I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of faith. There's a lot of faith in that one. There's a lot. You got a lot of faith going.
Adam Thielen, you know what I mean? He's cool, but you lost some key receivers, man. Y'all gonna have to get like Quentin Johnson. Johnson would be great for them. With Thielen, y'all need get hell of.
They're not getting a guy like Quentin Johnson.
Y'all need hell of skill positions. Y'all need all line.
We already know what Carolina's doing. I mean, like I said, you don't make that trade with the Bears to draft anything but a quarterback. That's their full. So the question is, what does Carolina do with that pick? And which quarterback do they take? And I have seen mock drafts that are all over the place. From, like I said, I'm taking Bryce Young with that pick. I think Bryce Young is the only quarterback worth taking that could start day one.
Yo, can I say this though, man? Your boy was on TV the other day, man. Your boy was on TV, Connecticut's very own Will Levis.
God.
And to watch him throw, he's real flat-footed.
He's not I've said how many times have I come on this program? Yes, he's a Connecticut guy. He's not a first-round pick. I'm sorry. He's just I would not draft him in the first round, and people have him going in the top 5.
I got to say
that's how bad this QB class is.
I'm sorry to say this, man. I was watching I was watching the other day Cam Newton's pro day. Cam looked better than him.
Yeah.
That's scary. That's scary. That is scary.
Look, the thing about Will Levis will look good. He'll look good in a pro day. He'll look good.
Bryce Young is going to be.
He'll look good at the combine. He'll look good in a pro day.
He needs some weight on him, man. Rude. He needs to lift some weights. He's small.
Just watch Kentucky the Kentucky Tennessee game. That's all you got to watch to see what Will Levis is. That's you watch that game and you're immediately going to go, this is not a guy we want as our quarterback. He's a guy that if we're going to draft him, he's going to be our backup, and we're going to have to coach him up. But
could we see him go to Kansas City? I think that'd be perfect for him to sit on the bench and learn from Andy to have some kind of semi-hope.
Anybody going to Kansas City would be good for a learning experience. It's not going to be good for you because you're never going to step on the field ever. It's more like if you go to Kansas City, it's like an internship. Like, yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to come here. I'm going to learn from Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes, and then I'm going to go do my real stuff somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way you're not stepping on the field ever. I mean, look at what Pat Mahomes did in the playoffs last year when he was basically broken in half. And there was no way you were going to keep him off the field like that. So as a young guy, yeah, it's a place you can learn, but it's a place you don't want to be because you never see the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a lot of moving parts, man. But the Ravens, if you're the Ravens GM, are you drafting another quarterback or what are you doing?
I have to look at where they're draft.
Where are you going with Huntley? Are you going with Huntley for the whole season?
See, that's where that I think you really try to work this thing out. I think you really try to work this thing out with Lamar.
That might not be bad, but he might end up starting. He might end up starting over the Jets.
Anybody can start going to the Jets.
They just need to sign Flash Gordon. The Jets can win a championship.
Zach Wilson is not going to be the starter in day one. So you know that going in. If you get drafted by the Jets, you have a chance. But back to the Ravens. I wouldn't mind seeing them take a Stetson Bennett or a Max Duggan in a second or third round.
You gotta change the offense. You gotta change the offense around if you get
a second or third round. In a second or third round, it wouldn't be a really bad decision. Well, again, you have to decide: are you going to run your offense behind? Are you going to run your offense behind Lamar Jackson? If you're running it behind Tyler Huntley is more of a pro style quarterback. So the offense, if you take a guy like Stetson Bennett, you don't have to change the offense if you're rolling with Tyler Huntley.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. You have to just make that. If you're the Ravens, you have to make that decision on draft night. Are we going a different direction, or are we going to go all in with Lamar? And are we going to set our team up to be a team that Lamar can win with? Because if you're not, then you have to prepare for him to leave.
Like it's a lot of things to really think about, man. And I can't wait for the draft to see how this thing unfolds.
And to the last comment, we already talked about that. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be a Jet. It's just how they get it done. That's the question.
And I don't think Aaron's going to want to go to OTAs and all that. Do you think that's going to hurt his development with the team? You know, to help them to get some kind of chemistry.
I don't think he would go to OTAs with the Packers.
I mean the Jets. If
he got traded to the Jets, I think he would go to. I think he would go to OTAs because he would know, hey, I need to work with these guys. Like, I don't know any of these guys. I need to work with them. I think he would go to OTAs just to get that kind of work in, and get familiarity with the guys. I mean, if he decided, you know what, I'm done. If he decided I'm done, you know. I'm not going to go to OTAs because I don't care about you guys. Like, imagine that. Like, that's your first impression on the team. Yeah, I don't really care about working with you. I'll show up for the season. You guys figure it out. Like, what? Everybody would look at him like, who the? I mean, this is uncensored. So everybody would look at him and go, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
So I think he would show up if he gets traded. I don't think he'd show up if he's still in Green Bay. Yeah, he's gonna take OTAs off. But if he's with the Jets, I'm pretty sure he'd show up.
I don't know, Root.
He does need an agent. Mom's not helping him here.
I don't think so, man. Keep on getting your money, man. I'm all for people getting their money, man, because the agents be taking 10 to 8%. And look at all these players that go broke by bad accounting deals and stuff like that. So if you get all your stuff from yourself, 100% to yourself, and you paying the taxes, doing all that, and you keep all your wealth, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with it is, look, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you have an agent, you have certain people working behind the scenes for you that are working with that agent, that are making calls to those teams, that have connections to certain teams, that say, "Hey, take this guy." You know, an agent does more than just, "Hey, here's the contract, sign on the dotted line." They do a lot more. I mean, an agent that just does the bare minimum, yeah, that's nothing. But
I think LeBron is his own agent.
From what I've heard is Lamar and his mom are his agents. And I'll tell you right now, it's not, like I said before,
this question for you. What should he ask for?
What he should ask for. Wait, what should he ask for, or what is he worth? Those are questions.
All right.
What he should ask for is the moon and back. He should ask for as much as he can. What
contract do you think is a friendly contract
for him?
I'm saying if you were a GM,
I would give him. I would look at the top. I would look at the top 10 contracts, and I would give him an average of it. That's what
you wouldn't try to disrespect him and try to give him a Daniel Jones contract.
No, I would look again. I'm not giving him Deshaun Watson. I'm not giving him the Deshaun Watson money because that was a crazy I'm not buying into crazy people doing crazy things. The Browns gave Deshaun Watson a crazy deal that should not have been given to him.
But when's the last time?
I'm not going to turn that around and say, you know what? Because the Browns gave Deshaun Watson this, I have to give Lamar Jackson that. That's why I say I would look at the top 5, top 7 contracts and give him somewhere in an average of that, which you're probably looking at. I would look at 4 years, 130 million, somewhere around there. And then the question becomes the question becomes how much of that contract is guaranteed or not. And I mean, the way things are going right now, I probably wouldn't mind giving him 100% guaranteed contract, because you're going to use him. You're going to use him no matter what. Like, he's your quarterback. It's not like you're all of a sudden going to say, you know what? Let's dump him. Let's dump our quarterback and figure something else out. Like, that's not going to happen.
It's you know what I mean. I feel like it's a couple quarterbacks he's way better than, you know what I mean, in the league. You know what I mean, Kyler Murray. Oh,
absolutely. But as a GM, you can't look at him and say, you know what? You look at the top two quarterbacks right now. You take the top two contracted quarter. I'm not talking about talent. I'm talking about, you look at the top two as far as contracts go. It's Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray. Lamar Jackson's better than both of them, but their contracts are insane. I'm not following insane contracts to that's how stupid teams work. Stupid teams follow that logic, and then they get in cap hell and they don't know what the hell to do. So in order to appease that, you have to look at, all right, let me give you a decent contract as far as the money goes, and then we'll play it from there. So that's how I would look at it. Now, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm going in and I'm saying, I'm better than both these guys. I want this kind of I want this contract. I want that contract. I want the insane deal, because I want all the money. Now, you work in negotiations with him where you say, look, if we sign you to this, we can't bring anybody else in. You're going to have to do this all on your own. And Lamar will have to make that decision. Does he make the Tom Brady decision where I'll take less money so you can bring more people in, we can win championships? Or, no, I want all the money, you give it to me and figure the rest out yourselves. That's a different, that comes down to what Lamar wants, and I can't get in his head. My theory would be that the Tom Brady way works. To me, getting $18 million a year to play football, that's a good contract. I'll take that. Go get some other guys. We'll all go and win a championship, and then I'll make more money because we won a championship and I can get endorsement deals and all that kind of stuff. That's the way you make money in sports, is you get your base contract and then you win and you get endorsements on top of it.
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm not signing where you want me to play this. If you're not going to trade me, I'm going to finish this 1-year deal and I'm going to move on. You know what I mean? Simple as that. You know what I mean? I can get my money where I want to get my money at. I mean, not getting no picks off it.
The perfect example is Kirk Cousins. Look what Kirk Cousins did with the Washington Redskins. They franchised him twice. He bet on himself twice and went on to Minnesota and got 100% guaranteed contract. Mm-hmm. That should be the model that Lamar Jackson's looking at, but clearly he's not looking at that because he's demanding a trade right now. So if he's demanding a trade, then clearly there's something else going on.
I just think the Ravens organization has been in the news for the wrong reason. You look at the training staff about players getting hurt, even worse from the training, recovery treatment. They're just getting black eyes after black eyes. You know what I mean? You look at that contract they gave Joe Flacco after that one Super Bowl. He didn't live up to that contract. You know what I mean? So they just make bad decisions, contract wise.
And that's why I say you can't make that mistake, because you look at what that one contract, that one mistake in that contract, they haven't been able to sign anybody to that team. Hey, who's the last big name guy to sign with the Ravens?
Steve Smith, probably. Raekwon Smith.
I mean, they haven't signed a big free agent since that contract because they can't. It's not, they haven't been able to, and then they haven't been able to bring guys in. That's what happens when you make these bad deals. That's why you can't make these insane deals.
So how do you feel about who's that went from the Kansas City that went to the Jets? The receiver.
Mecole Hardman.
How do you feel about that move right there? I think that was a good
I like
move.
it for the Jets. For the Jets, he fits exactly what the Jets need. Good
upgrade. I think he's an upgrade over
good third wide receiver and a great special teams guy.
Do you think he's an upgrade over Elijah Moore?
Yeah. Elijah Moore really wasn't a third. He's not a third wide receiver, and he's not a slot type wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Elijah Moore was more of a line him up on the outside and let him go. And you already have Chris Davis for that. You already have Garrett. The emergence of Garrett Wilson made Elijah Moore expendable. And I don't know why everybody's like big on I was never big on Elijah Moore, even when he was coming out of Ole Miss. I wasn't big on him then. Everybody seemed to want him. He ends up going to the Jets. He really didn't do much. So, I mean, it really doesn't change much. But Mecole Hardman gives you the option. He's a great third wide receiver. We've seen him in the slot. But he gives you the option of a kickoff and punt returner that Elijah Moore didn't give you. So it works on all levels for the Jets. And Mecole Hardman, say what you want, he is a vast upgrade over anything is an upgrade over Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, he definitely is an upgrade.
So,
but let's move along to the NBA, and this is going to be the last topic for the day. What's going on with that Mavs team, man? Before you go for that sucker punch,
you heard what the problem is. Kyrie Irving told you what the problem is.
You think Luka's not mature?
No, the problem is Kyrie Irving doesn't understand that it's Kyrie Irving that's the problem. Kyrie Irving is the problem. And the fact that Kyrie Irving wants to blame every other person other than Kyrie Irving, that's the problem. That's the problem with the Dallas Mavericks.
I don't think that. Luka is a crybaby. Yeah, can we fair to say? And he doesn't give no effort. He gives no effort playing defense either.
That team,
you got two liability on defense.
The team was fine. The Dallas Mavericks were doing just fine.
So why would they make the trade then?
And they brought in Kyrie Irving thinking, Kyrie will add to this. And Kyrie, all he's done is subtract from that. And he has been a cancer. And you're seeing that. You're seeing that he's not. And anybody could have told you this. Cavs players could have told you this. Celtics players could have told you this. Brooklyn Nets players could have told you this. He's not a team guy. Kyrie Irving is out for Kyrie Irving. And he's going to do what's best for Kyrie Irving. And that doesn't work unless you are on a team that can say, yeah, go do your own thing because we're good enough over here. The Mavs were never good enough to have Kyrie being Kyrie. They needed Kyrie to be part of the team, and he's just not.
I don't think that is the case, man. I think this team is lacking. They're bad on transition, playing defense. They don't really.
They're bad shooting. They don't have any shooters.
You know what I mean? We already seen Tim Hardaway Jr.'s movie. He is who he is. You know what I mean? Like when Tim Hardaway is your best shooter, that's when you have problems. They gave up too much.
That's when you have problems. They don't have. I mean, Luka Luka can do what Luka does, but he needs a shooter. When they collapse on Luka, he needs to be able to kick it to somebody who can make in a wide open shot. They can't make open shots. I mean, Luka has 3 guys on him. There's 2 guys wide open, and they get the ball, and it's clanked off the back iron. And they don't have anybody down there. They don't have anybody down low to rebound. So it's one shot, and you're out.
That's why I didn't like that trade of giving up Spencer Dinwiddie, Bronson. Like, they were shooters. Like, you don't got no shooting. You got no bench. That's why I'm so worried about people putting all their eggs in the basket for the Suns. Like,
Wow.
if KD get nicked again, they're done. You expect aging Chris Paul?
Isn't KD already done for the season?
Oh, is he?
I know he's not playing. He's not playing the regular season.
I heard he's coming back soon. That's what I heard, but I'm not sure.
Maybe for a playoff run. But I'm pretty sure I heard they were holding them out till the end of the season.
Oh man, so you know what I mean? They're like they gave up a lot for KD. They gave up a lot for KD. You know what I mean? It's this West team. The West is open market. I feel like, you know what I mean, how the Denver is slumping at the end. It's not looking good, man.
Yeah, I would say right now it's Denver's to lose, and right now they're losing it. But the rest of the West is everybody is like kind of in that mesh together, and that's what I think is going to happen. I think everybody's going to beat each other up, and that's going to leave the Nuggets just. That's going to allow the Nuggets to kind of get through that mess, but I'm
saying this. That's all. You know what I mean? The Eastern Conference is probably the biggest gap right now. It's either going to be the Celtics or who's the next team after the Bucks. It's only 2 teams.
It's Bucks Celtics in the East.
You know what I mean? But this West is looking kind of.
It's Bucks Celtics
shaky
in the East, and then you know the 76ers are like there, but they're not on that level. They're not.
But you know, but I gotta give credit where credit due. Let me just go to the bad of the weekend. Us losing to that you know what I mean, that struggling ass Bulls team. Like
Losing is an understatement.
Zach LaVine going off like that. I didn't expect that. I didn't see him having that in him. Where's the Zach LaVine been at?
When you're the Lakers and you're down 18 at halftime to the Bulls,
it's bad.
They got crushed. Now, look, everybody wants to take every single game, and of course they were going to take this game and blow it out of proportion because it was the first game that your guy was back. Your guy was back for this game. So you knew no matter what happened, if the Lakers had won, everybody would have said, look at what the Lakers are doing. But the fact they got blown out gave everybody the option to say, look, it's LeBron that's the problem. He's the problem with the Lakers.
D'Lo is missing. We need D'Lo back.
That's not the case. That's it. Yes, it was LeBron came back. The rotations got mixed up. They got off. But they also we've seen this from the Lakers before. You know, it's not like this is the first time we've seen the Lakers get blown out by a team they shouldn't get blown out by. The good news for them is they get the Bulls again, I think either tomorrow or Tuesday. Their next, I know they play the Bulls back to back. So they get to regroup, get together, and if Darwin Ham wants to save his job, he needs to figure out a way to make this work down the stretch.
You know what I mean? D'Lo out this lineup was really the key because I don't like Schroeder. Like I don't like Schroeder as a starting point guard. I think he's a bench guy. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? at the end of the day, man, I had to agree with Snowman about one thing, and one thing only. If we have any semi chance, Anthony Davis got to play better. He's got to give you 27 and 15 and a couple blocks.
He's got to get the ball he's got to get the ball.
Yeah, he got to ask for it more.
I mean, like, Darwin Ham, you've got to tell Anthony Davis, get down on the block, and we're going to give you the ball on the block. We're not giving you the ball at the 3-point line. Stop standing at the 3-point line. Get on the block. We'll give you the ball and put it in the hoop. That's basketball 101. And you can go back and watch this show from like a month or two ago when the Lakers played the Celtics, and I said, get Davis the ball with a 6'1" guard on him, put him in the block, and just get him the ball. They haven't done that all year. So it's not like they're just all of a sudden going to be like, oh, magic wand, let's do that. But that would fix every problem, because Anthony Davis is a guy who needs the ball to go through him. And right now, when he's standing at the 3-point line, the Lakers are going to struggle.
And you know what I mean? LeBron's going to have to be like that Moses Malone type and let Anthony Davis be that guy.
And that's been my criticism for LeBron James for 20 years. Is LeBron, you're the most gifted athlete that almost that we've ever seen. At some point, just say, this is my game. I'm taking it over, and I'm driving to the hoop every time. And I'm not when he drives to the hoop, he's looking to pass. Drive to the hoop, look to score, and if a triple team comes to you, then you can pass. But if it's one or two guys coming at you, take them to the hole, take it to the rack, and live with what happens. But you can't live that way. LeBron has been, again, this has been 20 years of saying, LeBron James, just take the ball to the rack every single time. And Doc Rivers said it the best when he was coaching Boston. He said, if LeBron pulls up for a jump shot, the defense did their job. Mm-hmm. That's been the defense on LeBron James for his entire career, and he has never adjusted. That's one thing that Snowman and I have been saying, and Snowman has been right about. LeBron has never adapted to that. He's never attempted to get a better jump shot. He's never attempted to say, you know what, my jump shot is not as good as it should be, so I'm not going to settle for a jump shot. Because LeBron James should never have to settle. He's bigger, faster, stronger than every guy that guards him. He should be able to take them to the hole every time.
I'm saying this though, Deets. To say he didn't have an error was crazy. I feel that Snowman said. Can we say he dominated the late 20s, the 2020s of the Eastern Conference? How many times did he get out of the Eastern Conference?
Well, it wouldn't be the 2020s.
Not the early.
Because he was in LA. He was in
LA.
The
early 2000s.
So
how many times did the
early 2000s wasn't
the late 2000s? The late 2000s. Let's say that. How many times the teams got out the East?
Late 2000s. You could say.
Now, young Raptors teams didn't make it out.
But no, it's a very short window. That's the problem. It's probably about a 4-year window of LeBron. If you want to take an actual LeBron era, it's probably a 4-year window, and then it was closed by KD and Kawhi. and then it went right into Steph Curry.
I'm saying the conference.
And then it went right into Steph Curry.
I'm saying the Eastern Conference. After KG and all of them fell apart, he owned the Eastern Conference. Nobody got the Eastern Conference except for that one struggling Orlando Magic team.
No, the Eastern Conference was a joke then. There's no question. There's no question about that. The Eastern Conference was an absolute joke. But you go back to those years, those years when you say LeBron dominated, there's that one anomaly that fits in there, and that's the Isaiah Thomas year. The year Isaiah Thomas got the Celtics to a finals. I don't know how. Nobody knows how. Nobody can ever explain that one to me. How Isaiah Thomas did what he did. And that's what makes everybody go. And that's what makes people like Snowman say he never had an era. His era is probably about 3 or 4 years. That's not long.
Okay,
that's not long. I mean, when you look at a guy like when you look at an all-time great like a Tim Duncan, Tim Duncan has like a 10-year span. You look at a guy like Shaq has a huge span. Kobe has a huge spanning era. LeBron's is like 3 years. And the COVID Classic, and that's about it.
You know what I mean? I give you that, but Tim Duncan, can we say this? Anything Cavs had was the Spurs was better than that dynasty. Can we say that?
Absolutely.
That dynasty could probably beat a couple now teams right now.
Absolutely. That the Spurs, that Spurs unit is probably, I would say, fifth or sixth all time.
I mean, so, you know what I mean? I'll say that. But
fifth or sixth all time. That's what you're talking about with that Spurs team. With that Spurs dynasty, because it goes all the way back to David Robinson. You go David Robinson to Tim Duncan and Kawhi to Ginobili, Parker, Duncan. It goes through that. It spans a long time.
We talking about Tim Duncan can have at least 7 rings.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about that. You know what I mean?
If not for Ray Allen, he would have had one more.
You know what I mean? So
if Ray Allen doesn't make that ridiculous shot,
before we get out of here,
Duncan gets one more and steals one from LeBron.
How do you feel about this Mario Chalmers comments, man? About LeBron getting his ass busted in practice?
I feel I feel like it what he's talking about in that is exactly what I was just talking about with LeBron James. It says exactly what LeBron doesn't have that takeover type. LeBron is not that type of person. He's not that type of person on the court. He's not that type of person off the court. So he's not going to be that kind of person in practice.
But it's a lot of players that's not dogs like that. So,
that's what I think Mario Chalmers was getting at was that
nobody was scared of Paul Pierce. People were scared of KG, but people was not scared of Paul Pierce.
But what Mario was shining a light on was that Michael was and everybody has always said this about Michael Jordan. It didn't matter what he was doing. It didn't, and I've always said this. It didn't matter if it was a Thursday in Milwaukee. He played like it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals. It did not matter what game he was playing. Mm-hmm. He played it that way. He played that way every single day. Mm-hmm. Every single day. You can go back and watch I'm not talking about The Last Dance. I'm talking about the NBA TV series, The Dream Team, where they were losing in practice and Michael went off on the Dream Team, the team he was on that was losing to the other half of the Dream Team, Michael went off on them and said, we need to pick it up. And even Charles Barkley said those practices were, that's why the games were meaningless to them, because practices were so hard. Practices were so intense that when they played games, it was like being on vacation. And that's the difference between Michael. That's what Mario Chalmers is saying in that comment. He's not saying, he's not saying anything that people haven't said about LeBron and people haven't said about Mike. He was pretty much affirming everything that's been said. Is LeBron doesn't have that takeover where Michael had that takeover. Michael had that, give me the ball and get out of the way. LeBron doesn't have that. And LeBron has never had that. He's always been that guy that drives the hole, and when he drives, he's looking to pass. And I've always, I've said, LeBron, just look to score. Don't look to pass. I know passing is the better play, and passing it to a wide open guy is a better play. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're that good that you're the better play.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And this has been another episode of Midday Sports. Let the people know what's going on this week before we go.
All right. This week I will be on Snowman on Thursday. On Thursday morning I'll do Snowman show. We're not gonna do a fifth down Thursday night because it is the greatest day in sports. It is opening day of baseball, and I will be celebrating opening day.
Who y'all play the first game? Who y'all play the first game?
I don't even know who the Mets play on the first day. I haven't even looked at the schedule. I haven't even looked at anything. I just know the Mets are going to play. It's going to be an afternoon game, I'm pretty sure. But I don't even care about all that. Like, opening day, you can't tell me there's a better day in sports. You get baseball from basically noon until like 2 a.m, and I'll watch every single game.
And we played the Sox. We played the Sox the first game.
Oh, Orioles, Red Sox.
Yeah,
that's not a bad opening series. I like that.
Let me see what y'all play.
I would imagine the Mets play probably I would imagine
y'all play the Marlins.
Be Phillies or Marlins.
Y'all play the Marlins at 4:10.
All right,
I need to watch that.
I'll take the Marlins for an opening series. That's
Let me see what my girls' team gonna watch. She's a big Phillies. Let me see what they play. Damn, they got the. Let me see.
They got to play the break. I would imagine. I'd imagine. I think
they
the way
play the Rangers. They play the Rangers.
They play the Rangers, so they get the out of division game. But yeah, opening day is amazing. So we're gonna take that day off. Whether we do a Saturday show or not, that's up in the air. That's up in the air or not. I might do a show on Saturday, but it's all going to depend on what happens Thursday. And then, I'm not doing a show on Saturday because Saturday we have UConn. We have UConn in the Final Four. So yeah, definitely not doing a show during the UConn game because it'll end at that. YouTube will not. They won't be happy with my language during a UConn game. We're going to continue our March break, and we'll come back next week with Fifth Down Sports Show and start gearing up for the draft. April 24th.
You know what I mean? I've been really liking the play though of Matt Holliday's son Jackson. I hope he get a call up. I hope he get a call up, man. Do you think Matt Holliday was a Hall of Famer, or you think he's a very good player? You don't think he was good enough to be Hall of Famer?
Not in the baseball Hall of Fame. He's not a baseball Hall of Famer.
A Hall of Famer, very good.
I think he's a really good player, and I mean, you'll hear me talk. You'll hear me talk about this. I'll do a little preview now. You'll hear me talk about the Baseball Hall of Fame on Thursday on Totally Deets on Snowman in the Morning. Baseball. I'm telling you right now, baseball's on the hot seat. They are dangerous.
Why are they on the hot seat?
They are dangerously close to being canceled.
Damn.
Dangerously close, and I will go through it with a certain. They are dangerously close to a certain entity that is already canceled, and baseball. The way they're treating their former players is absolutely it's absolutely stupid, and it's why baseball is dying.
I think after they started hitting them on the PEDs, baseball was dying, man. You took all them homers, and after that PED era was done, I feel like it dropped off then.
I'm just telling you, listen on Thursday to Snowman when you hear all the parallels that baseball is doing, that a certain other entertainment property has done. When you look at that entity and you say, "Oh my God, that entity is dead," and baseball is doing the exact same stuff, there's one thing that baseball is not doing that I'm glad they're not doing, but they're dangerously close, dangerously close, and they're driving fans away from the ballpark, and nobody wants to see. And I don't bring this up to say, haha, baseball's not. I bring it up because I don't want baseball to die. Baseball is my favorite. Baseball is my first, you always love your first love. Baseball is my first love. I grew up playing baseball. I don't want it to die. I want it to thrive. I want it to get back to thriving. And they need baseball. You need to listen on Thursday. I will spell it out for you and give you exactly what you need to do. So,
all right,
that's coming on Snowman Show on Thursday, 8:30, and then everybody get over to Snowman Multimedia and subscribe, and when Snowman cuts it up, you'll be able to listen to just that rant. And I'm telling you right now, if you're a baseball fan, you're gonna want to spread it around.
All right, this has been another episode of Midday Sports with Rod and the Lunch Crew, and it's been a good, good Monday to, talk about the hottest takes of the weekend. And come on, Lakers, we need this win Wednesday. It's a must win.
If you can't beat the Bulls, if you get beat by the Bulls twice, it's over. You might as well pack it in.
You know what I mean? And come on, Baltimore Orioles, let's get a win on Thursday too. Go O's. And we're out.
Win on opening day.
Win on opening day. That's like a championship for us.
One of 162. We're good.
That's this will be a champion of the day. I'm cool with that. All right, we out of here.